Under the gray dawn sky, the naval base stood silent, its massive ships resting in the calm harbor like steel giants asleep. Every morning began the same, orders shouted, boots striking concrete, and the faint scent of sea salt lingering in the wind. But this morning will be remembered for years across every base in the fleet. Asterisk, asterisk, what city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more real stories about extraordinary people. Asterisk, it began with a joke. When Admiral Hayes, the most decorated SEAL in the Pacific Command, asked a quiet young woman in a maintenance uniform about her rank, he expected a nervous laugh or a salute, not the words that would make him go pale, his hand gripping the table to steady himself, because she had said softly and without flinching, Fleet Commander. And in that moment, everything changed. Her name was Elara Briggs, a name that few on the base recognized. She had arrived 3 months ago, transferred from a logistics post overseas. Her papers listed her as a technical assistant, a vague role tucked deep within the maintenance department. She kept to herself, repaired communication panels, ran diagnostics, and stayed out of the officer's way. No one thought much of her. To them, she was just another quiet recruit, a woman in a man's world, mopping hangars and fixing wires while the SEALs trained under the blistering sun. But what they didn't know, what even the Admiral didn't know, was that her file was sealed under classified, command-level clearance. Her arrival wasn't an accident. She was sent here under direct authorization from the Defense Council. Her mission was simple: evaluate the Pacific SEAL Command from within. She had built her career on silence, the kind that observes, records, and never reveals until the final moment. Every morning, Elara walked past the open training grounds where the SEALs tested recruits with relentless drills. The men shouted, joked, and sometimes mocked the maintenance crew that swept the grounds afterward. One afternoon, a young SEAL named Torres tossed an empty water bottle near her boots and grinned. "Careful, miss," he said. "We wouldn't want the tools to outrank the soldiers." Elara said nothing. She picked up the bottle, threw it into the bin, and continued her inspection checklist. They laughed as she walked away, but one of the older officers, Commander Ross, watched her closely. There was something unsettling about how calm she remained, not defiant, not afraid, just quietly certain. Later that week, Ross found her alone in the radar room, running system diagnostics well past midnight. "You don't look like someone who takes orders easily," he said. She looked up briefly. "I don't take bad ones." He chuckled. "You'll fit right in." But Ross was wrong. She didn't fit in. She wasn't meant to. She was meant to watch. A month passed. Rumors began to circulate, strange ones. Some claimed that a general had visited the maintenance wing late one night, saluted the cleaning lady, and left without a word. Others whispered that Elara had access to restricted systems that even high-ranking officers couldn't open. Nobody knew the truth, and Elara didn't explain. Then came the morning of the inspection. Admiral Hayes arrived unannounced, his white uniform spotless, his medals glinting in the sunlight. He was a legend, a SEAL who had led covert rescue missions across continents. The entire base assembled to receive him. The Admiral's gaze swept across the lineup, soldiers, officers, and crew, until it landed on Elara, who was standing quietly at the back in her dark blue maintenance uniform, hands clasped behind her. He frowned. "You, step forward." The crowd stiffened. No one disobeyed an admiral. Elara obeyed, walking to the front with a calm so absolute it made the men uneasy. Hayes tilted his head, smirking. "What's your rank, soldier?" A few SEALs chuckled under their breath. It was clear he was teasing her, the way a superior might mock someone far below him. Elara looked him in the eye. "Fleet Commander." The silence that followed was heavier than the ocean wind. For a moment, everyone thought she was joking. Then Hayes' face went pale. He took a slow step forward, searching her expression. "I beg your pardon?" "Fleet Commander Elara Briggs," she said again, voice steady, eyes unwavering. Special Operations Oversight Division. Classified Authority Level. Red. The base froze. No one dared move. Admiral Hayes straightened, blinking hard. He turned to his aide. "Get me Central Command now." The aide hesitated. "Sir, now." The call went through within minutes. When the confirmation code came back, it was stamped with the seal of the Defense Council itself. "Authorization confirmed," the officer on the other end said. "Commander Briggs holds fleet authority over all SEAL operations in the Pacific Command." And then came the words that sent shivers through the ranks. "She outranks you, Admiral." Word spread across the base like wildfire. The woman who fixed cables and swept hangars was the highest-ranking operations officer in the fleet. Hayes dismissed the formation and requested a private meeting. Inside the briefing room, his voice was tight. "Why are you here undercover, Commander?" Elara sat across from him, expression calm. "To observe. To understand how command looks from the ground. To see who still serves for duty and who serves for ego." Hayes clenched his jaw. "You could have informed me." "If I had," she said, "I wouldn't have seen the truth." He looked down, his face shadowed by shame. He had mocked her in front of hundreds. Elara leaned forward. "This isn't about humiliation, Admiral. It's about leadership. Your men reflect your tone. The disrespect trickles down. That's why morale is breaking." Her voice softened. "But you can change it if you're willing to start again." For days afterward, the base shifted in atmosphere. The jokes stopped. Orders were spoken with more precision, more care. Hayes began walking among the crew, not as a legend above them, but as a commander beside them. And Elara remained. She led quietly, issuing evaluations, restructuring communication between departments, and offering training reforms. Soldiers began to trust her, even revere her. Not because of her title, but because she listened. One evening, Ross approached her as she stood by the pier, watching the sunset burn across the waves. "Ma'am," he said softly, "why did you never reveal your rank sooner?" Elara smiled faintly. "Rank is only as strong as the silence it carries. Sometimes you have to stand unseen to see clearly." He nodded, not fully understanding, but knowing he'd never forget it. Weeks later, the fleet prepared for a classified operation in the South Pacific. Hayes, now second in command under Elara, stood before the assembled SEALs. He spoke with conviction. "We've all made mistakes, but today we move forward as one. Under Commander Briggs' leadership, we've become something better, not because of titles, but because of truth." As the team deployed, Elara watched the ships move out, sleek silhouettes against the rising dawn. She felt no pride, only peace. Her mission had always been about restoration, rebuilding the foundation of respect within the ranks. When the operation concluded successfully weeks later, the fleet received commendations from the highest offices. Elara declined public recognition. Her report was classified and sealed. Months later, she left the base as quietly as she had arrived. Some said she was reassigned to a covert division overseas. Others swore they saw her walking alone on a dock in San Diego, staring at the horizon like someone still searching for something only she could see. Years passed, but her story lived on, retold among new recruits as a legend. They called her the Ghost Commander, not because she disappeared, but because she reminded everyone that real authority doesn't shout. It speaks once and echoes forever. And somewhere, beneath the endless sea and sky, those who once mocked her still remember the moment when a simple question, "What's your rank?" changed their entire understanding of leadership, humility, and strength. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.